Hello everyone. I know what you're thinking. I really do. I mean, just look at me. Just look at yourself in the mirror. It's a Monday. Why is this person streaming? What could be behind it? Why? What is the reason? It's not natural. It's every Wednesday. And I know, I tell you specifically, every single Wednesday there's a stream. And now it's Monday. Is it going to be changed? No, it's still Wednesday. It's just the thing is that there is something I have to talk about. No, actually there is something I have that I can talk about. And then just we will resume normal program later. So this is not going to be a big stream. This is just going to be something that's supposed to be a video. I can actually make a video, but this software thing that I use, I can use it for video purposes. So what I want to talk about is this thing, that in Hungary currently the situation regarding environmental stuff is crazy, and a lot of cars are banned from the city. But what I'm concerned about is not that the cars are banned, although it doesn't change a lot, because admittedly the biggest problem is that for heating purposes in Hungary, what a lot of people use is to like burn garbage or burn cheap wood, which results in a situation like this. So this is one of the most fun weather forecast websites of Hungary. You might have seen it. And basically it tells you that while 100, I think 100 would be the absolute maximum, this is where we stand. And in Budapest it's quite, well, here it's quite high, but there are places who where that are much higher. Although I don't know what's this thing happening, like this is a big circle, I don't know what's here. But anyways, so in Budapest you can, I mean, I didn't have a lot of time to talk about industry, for instance, because this is the 21st century. We are sort of leaving this industrial era of we have this post-industrial stuff where like everything is outsourced to China, which, well, they have a lot of pollution, but still you can clearly see the this whole industrial area kind of like places in Budapest. And so that's what's happening. And what's interesting is that it should be, actually it is blamed on cars, but there is a lot of controversy going on with this whole thing. So on one hand, cars that, by the way, we have a weird system in Hungary that has nothing to do with the European Union standard when it comes to environmental friendly levels of cars. So admittedly, from 0 to 4, which are like mostly old cars, just cannot go into the city, and from 5 to whatever, they can. But the controversy is that some experts say that it had no effect because most of the pollution is not because of that, and then it clearly disrupts life, especially when you have a small business and you rely on your very old truck, which you can't really replace because there is no government aid for that, and all sorts of crazy stuff. So this is not a news service, this is not something about current things, but in general this is about this interesting phenomenon that we do have this problem solely because Budapest is in a kind of a valley, and mountains surround the Carpathian Basin that we are in. So to put that into perspective, and I think I might have mentioned this before, if you look at the map here, you can clearly see that there is a mountain range that closes Hungary. Maybe here you can see it better, all this stuff, and if there is no wind, nothing could go out. So I guess this kind of explains the situation what we have here. So yeah, that's something interesting about Hungary, and that's mostly it. That's what I wanted to actually talk about, because this is a situation that's been going on all Monday and probably will go on, and I don't know if it will get more severe. This is kind of a surprise, but it usually happens. Whatever happens, it happens in winter, where we have degrees, like we have temperatures below freezing, and people start using a lot of bad material to burn to get more heat. So because this is a surprise, I don't assume that anyone's here, although clearly like 4 people is watching it. But if there are any questions, I'm here to answer, or even in the comment section about this situation we have, which is beside another situation we are having right now, which I would not like to touch because it's mostly a family tragedy, and you might have heard about it, but it's not my place to talk about. I'm nowhere near an expert. I have nothing to add to it other than I'm really sad that it happened, involving people dying, and especially when young people die. So just wanted to touch on the other thing. Hello there. That's been going on, which is this whole situation with the smog thing. So that yeah, now it's, you know, the quality is dropping. I know. I've got nothing to talk about. I do not actually prepared with. I did not prepare with anything. So you can just leave now. I mean, not the streaming, but the video itself, because this is now becoming a little more boring than it used to be. So yeah, and I do not wish for you to look at my face being silent and talking about stuff on and on and on. I will wait a couple of minutes. If there is a question, let me just transition into this whole intro screen. There you go. I will wait a tiny bit, but then I will finish the video, because of course this is not connected to languages, which I get the most questions about, because that's more interesting. And all right, well, leaving the subject then, very well, I can recommend a couple of Hungarian songs which you can find on YouTube, to be honest, and then I can leave you with a couple of bands. These are the crazy stuff I'm watching currently. So there is a world famous band called Omega having decent songs, and I don't necessarily listen to them. Perhaps it's a little bit more mainstream. One of the songs that I listen to is this. Now that is an awesome song. I'm not going to play it for you. I'm not sure that it would be copyright or anything, but that's something. Another, and of course now I'm recommending stuff that are important to me. So you have to understand that you might conclude something different. That's very well, very different then, but a different style, a different something that you wish for. But these are, I'm recommending the classic ones, the classic rock songs or pop songs that are not, sometimes it can be quite contemporary, but most of them are from the 70s, 80s and 90s. Those were the days. So Demjén Ferenc is, and again, I do not wish to actually go into rumors about the musicians, and everybody has drama, and you cannot find anyone who is you know, without drama. And I'm not necessarily talking about Michael Jackson or Miley Cyrus or Justin Bieber or Britney Spears kind of drama, but you know. So anyways, just strictly music. And this is probably one of my favorites about the about some freedom stuff. And of course you might not be able to listen to it and you know, realize the meaning of the lyrics, although I'm pretty sure that you can find translations out there, which I'm right now not going to provide because I'm lazy. But these are the ones with the deeper meanings. These are the ones that would be something something that is quite meaningful, as opposed to just, you know, like whatever. Okay, and right, as an idea, that is quite a cool idea, saying something about the pollution in Hungarian. And once I recommended maybe 2 or 3 more songs just to start with this little music club we are having right now, then I will write something Hungarian which could be translated. I'm never sure about whether I should give you any sort of homework that could be followed upon. I will think about it, but it would be swell for me, because I definitely try to read the comments even if I have nothing to answer to some of them. But yeah, quite interestingly, one of the mentions Tavaszi szél. That is one of the folk songs that you can actually enjoy, but that's not with the lyrics that is whole meaningful. That is just like the spring wind creates the flood, and I love a girl or a boy, and then it's like whatever, you know, love is in the air, basically. That's the kind of thing. Anyways, so right, now slightly more controversial, I guess, because a lot of people don't appreciate it, or don't want to, or maybe he has horrible songs, I don't know. I'm not his fan, but Ákos is one of the musicians who can come up with interesting lyrics, in my opinion. And I think that one of the most interesting ones would be, these are recent ones and I'm not talking about that one, but I'm talking about, oh yes, this one. which is Indian dance, if I want to. This is not referring to Indians in India. This is referring to Native Americans. Often you can find that Hungarians are sometimes a bit obsessed with Indians, and of course that's quite, for me it was always interesting. It has always been interesting that if you say Indian, that refers to Native American, but if you refer to somebody as indiai, that is from India. So in Hungarian we have two different names. Oh, holy cow! For Indians and Indians. Slightly different. Alright, now pollution stuff. That is, I guess, more interesting. So let's say that Jelenleg Magyarországon nagy a smog. And I'm trying to come up with something that is quite simple, but let's translate this for first. So, jelenleg. That is often translated sorry, I was just answering. So that is often translated as actually, but it's not exactly like that. It's like at the moment. At the moment, in Hungary, I believe that part is obvious. And then the smog is quite, now, big. You could say big. I believe that makes sense in English, but high, I guess, would be a bit better. And the thing is that when you start forming an English sentence, you often deviate from this whole thing. So translation is never a good idea to teach with. Of course, there aren't a lot of things that we can do here. So translation is something that we need to do, but I always prefer to avoid it as much as possible, because then it becomes like almost an English lesson. So yeah. So alright, now as someone requested, I can actually if you're watching or looking at a phone, then I'm not sure how many people are looking at a phone. So maybe if the majority of everybody is watching this from a phone, which I don't know because I have no ways of figuring it out. I mean, there is a dashboard here that I can look at, but it doesn't tell me a lot. I mean, there is some analytics that I can watch, but it's not telling me. It tells me about chat rates and concurrent viewers and playbacks and or whatever, but it's not telling location. I mean, locations as like whatever. So it's anyways. Right. So I can always just paste whatever I have into the chat window, which is actually quite an awesome idea. I don't know why I have not thought of it. Oh no, it's too much. Let me just okay, I guess that the chat thing only allows 200 characters. which is not nice because now I'm spending a lot of time in the video. Oh, okay, I'm not going to send the links, by the way. I will paste them under the video, so you can just do your research later. And we can go into this whole situation with different musicians and the history of these musicians. To me, it's always quite interesting, music in Hungary, because we do have an awesome university, music university, conservatory in Hungary, and they do have the highest standards as well as possible. So, right. And then the question for KFT, I mean, often I put this after my name. And then I just put this, which is, well, it's not like a PhD, it's actually when I started out as a self-employer, and now my accountant advised me to do something like to make a limited business, but I couldn't come up with anything, a good name, because this is about me mostly teaching the language and doing translations and all sorts of services with a couple of people, but mostly I do the work itself. So I just use my name, and the KFT literally means korlátolt, felelősségű. Yeah, you're gonna love this. Társaság. Very, very easy to translate. This one is limited, reliability, or reliable in a limited form, and this one is, you could call it as a society or a company or whatever. But basically is exactly like LTD or LLC or GMBH, I think it's the German one, and whatever, your country probably has some sort of small company form, which is the limited company. And yeah, and then another suggestion, moving on with the whole thing, which refers to Bartók Béla. Now, Bartók Béla is kind of like, it's connected to classical music, and I started out with the whole with this whole classical rock and pop music, and maybe falsely I assume that that's more interesting, but sure, we have a couple of crazy classical musicians. Bartók is one of the examples, but Liszt Ferenc, he was completely crazy, and no, however, it seems, and there are some weird people out there who might associate me with him, but no, he's not. Completely different face, and my hair is longer, so just don't get me started on that one. However, if you wish to listen to some crazy Liszt Ferenc, mostly piano music, you're welcome to join. I mean, my favorite would be Chopin, but of course this is called the Hungarian project, not the I'm gonna take a risk here, Polish project. I think he was, I have to check this, let me see, like oh, I'm gonna, Frederick Chopin was a I won! Oh my god, I mean, technically I looked it up, so I cannot really win, but at least I was right. Good lord, I always forget these little things. So I do love classical music, and I do love all sorts of music, but if you ask me of stuff I just cannot remember. It's always something like, you know, the thing with the whatever, and then there is the piano in there crazily, and then the violins come crashing down. It's like, oh, you're talking about Wagner, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the dude. So it's kind of weird, but this is my mind. Welcome to my world. So yeah, now, you know, jumping back and forth, but as I promised, this is a very small and short stream with an insane amount of viewers actually. I know that maybe 12 to you does not sound a lot, but it's awesome! Seriously, I mean, I'm really excited because I wonder how many people will be here on Wednesday. Probably maybe 13! Yeah, I'm the person who can be satisfied maybe quite easily. It's just I really enjoy this, and I have to be honest. So whether you like, when you have the time to just jump in and, like, you know, you're always welcome to join and ask all the questions. And I noticed that because I'm not looking at myself, or probably I'm looking at here, but I can't show you, but this is the chat window here, so that's why I'm looking at this. I should put the camera over there or something, I'll be honest, but yeah, this is still a work in progress. And now I'm talking about something that is completely and utterly boring to you, because it's all this technical stuff, so, like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Liszt is the kind of crazy musician who, I mean, everybody is kind of selfish when it comes to creating music, and he had big hands, and people hate him because if you are a tiny pianist, then you're gonna hate him. I mean, there is this famous hands, I think, because there is this crazy stuff that no, this is creepy. We should not be looking at we should be looking at this. Yes, that is the actual picture. I love that. So it's like this is a picture of how people should perceive the music, or what you should do with your hands. Now look, I can play the piano a little bit. No, don't think about that I'm like a pianist or anything. I just know the keyboard, the keys and whatever, and I have the sort of music training that allows me to understand what's going on. But yeah, I mean, think about it. And then of course everybody loves Rachmaninoff, but Liszt is like, okay, so hold this down, and then, like, yeah. So crazy stuff. But yeah. So enjoy. Whoever, I mean, if you can play the piano, probably you can understand the frustration of playing these, and yeah, it's fun. Now, I do not wish to go back to the smog thing actually, so instead of, I can give you a weird example of rap music in Hungarian. Oh yeah, it's alright, yeah, actually, like, haha, yeah, I do know the internet. I mean, I have only a certain amount of, like, small amount of skills, but one of them is finding weird pictures on the internet. So what is it I'm looking for again? I should be looking for Hungarian rap music. Oh, good lord. Sub-Bass Monster. Yes, that's the name of a Hungarian musician, rapper. Or now look, I'm not going to give you some low-level horridness. This is quite interesting, and especially the whole situation with the music video. It's quite simple. It's nice. it's quite nice. So there you go. I give you sub bass monster with it's not, I mean, this is probably his most famous song. So and a Hungarian Eurovision thing. Now the thing with the Eurovision is that for some reason I never excited about it. I don't know, maybe it's just I'm not really interested in that sort of music. Maybe I kind of miss the point of it, so let me tell you, probably it is my fault, but for some reason for me it's not very comprehensive, or I don't know. But I do know that the last time we had a pretty good song, which I, or in all honesty, forgot about. I kind of have an idea, but if anyone could help me with this, that would be awesome, because I just cannot seem to remember. Was it like 2015? Let me look it up. And no. Was it 16? I don't know, because yeah, maybe it was a little. Was it Kedvesem? I think it was, actually. I mean, in a way that, yes, this one, My Dear, and I think this is, yeah, that's fine, that's right, because, ByeAlex for some reason was quite controversial in this. It was a couple of years ago, and everybody knew about this song. It's a very catchy song, to be honest, and the lyrics is surprisingly deep, but as you can say, this was in 2013, it seems, so like, 12? Well, whatever, but yeah, and since then I have not heard anything that was worth mentioning, at least I think. But, look. This is my selection. Let me look at the final comments or whatever for the stream, and then I have to close it, because this was intended to be a surprise stream that turned out surprisingly well, but 2 days from now, that will be the real deal. I actually have some footage that I took it on the weekend. I went to Lake Tisa, and it was completely frozen, and I do not like saying such things, but it was quite beautiful, and I think that it will be fun to look at some pictures or videos or something, and yeah, so these are probably not the songs that you can learn the most from when it comes to Hungarian. Maybe Tavaszi Szél is one of the example that opposes this rule, but these are quite interesting and deep songs that are very hard to translate, but yeah, well, we'll see. One thing that I can suggest to everyone, if you can get your hands on some dubbed Hungarian films, because we dub all our films and there are mostly Americans, then because we dub all our films, it's pretty easy to get some fun dialogue out of this. So yeah. Alright. Thank you for watching. I have to leave you now, unfortunately, because I do have things to do. But thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it, because I enjoyed it surprisingly. And oh, now that I look at it, this tells me how people watch my stream, and some people do watch it in very low quality, but most of you seem to watch me on a mobile phone, I guess. Ha! I'm going to get the hang of this, and then these streamings will be as awesome as anything could be in this world. So thank you for watching, as it's always a pleasure to have you around. Next time I'll bring tea and biscuits. So I hope that you will enjoy your days until we have the next stream as usual on Wednesday. So there you go. So cheers everyone, and goodbye or farewell.